Good day, YouTube, and welcome. Hey, back in January, you guys might remember the vlog I had where I was talking about how the family had COVID. We felt like death and everything else. We had a rapid test done, and the rapid test said we were positive. But because we were in Nunavik refused to do a PCR test at the time unless you traveled up to Nunavik from Montreal. The reason for that was because there was a very large influx of infections in Nunavik, and they were trying to make the numbers look like they were controlled. So you were basically told, hey, unless you came from unless you came from Montreal, you have to just go and you have to just go in quarantine, and we're not testing you. Flash forward to 2 months because that was January 17th, and we go on vacation March 14th, spending 10 days, well, 7 days, I guess. Yeah, because the family left today. And we do our NFAs and all that, which is the Nunavik Travelers Acceptance in Backup. You have to fill out a piece of paper. They say, okay, now you have to go get a COVID test. So we fill out the piece of paper and it says, have you had COVID in the last 90 days? We're like, well, yes, we have. So they call us and they're like, well, when was your PCR test done as positive? And we're like, it wasn't because we were in Nunavik in PUV. And because the numbers were exploding, they decided they weren't going to test us. They had 150 people in quarantine that could not be tested because they hadn't traveled from Montreal. They go, oh, well, that's going to be a problem because this could cause a problem for you because you can test positive for up to 30 days, 90 days, sorry. And we're like, but you're the Nunavik Health Board. And they're like, yeah. And we're like, the Nunavik Health Board is who told us we weren't allowed to get a test. Yeah. But we had a rapid test that said we had it. Yes, but you didn't have a PCR. Okay, but you wouldn't give us a PCR. No, we wouldn't. And we might come back positive. You might. And then we're going to have to quarantine. You will. So we go through the week. We test ourselves every single day. We did a rapid test every day. Every day the rapid test came back negative. We get back to Montreal on Friday. Do a rapid test on Friday, negative. Go in, do our PCR tests. Last night we got our PCR tests back. Harlow, who has no vaccines at all, negative. Aiden, 2 vaccines, negative. Braith, 2 vaccines, negative. Alicia, 3 vaccines, had my tongue down her throat every day, took other bodily fluids from me, positive. Sorry, negative. Me, positive. Okay, so now I'm in quarantine in Montreal in a hotel for the next 10 days. My my rapid tests still say I'm negative. So this is obviously from when I had it in January, but now I have to quarantine again. Uh, on top of that, on top of that, if I had come down with COVID up in the Arctic right now, I would, well, technically, your daughter who has no vaccine should be quarantining with you for 5 days. And she's like, my wife was the one dealing with them for this. And she's like, okay. So my husband has triple vaccinations, and you're saying right now he's positive. My daughter has 0 vaccinations, and right now she's negative. You're saying for 5 days she should quarantine with him, but then she has to go and take another test and wait a couple days before she can travel. And if she comes back positive, she has to stay. But she can't travel anyway because she's 3 and he's still in quarantine. And they're like, yes. She's like, yeah, that's not happening. And she left and she's like, so what's going on with him? Because you guys fucked this one up because he's still saying negative on every rapid test he does. We're all saying negative. His uncle says negative. His aunt says negative. My mom and dad, who were also at the house, still say negative. We all test. They all test every day for their jobs. And they're like, well, we can't change federal legislation. And she's like, what federal legislation are you talking about? Because the only federal legislation that's out there right now is for you flying into Canada. And Right now, you can even deny the test, but then you have to go in quarantine. She goes, there is no federal legislation saying that you need to do a COVID test to fly to Nunavik. That's a Nunavik rule. Then they stopped answering her. So, moral of the story is I'm alone in Montreal, losing my mind because this is my hotel room. I have a bed, I have my phone, I have a TV with French cable. If any of you are in the Montreal area, I can't do anything because I am in quarantine, but what I'm saying is I have a $50 bill. You can bring me $40 worth of alcohol, and by alcohol I mean beer. I'll give you that $50 bill. I'll slide it under the door. We don't even have to see each other. I'm just going fucking nutty already, and it's just been a couple hours. On top of that, my wife's the only one with a credit card because of the bankruptcy I went through in my previous marriage. So she booked the hotel to continue on for me, right? And she went and paid for it last night before. And they last night when she paid for it, they're like, okay, yeah, he just stays in the same room. He doesn't need his key card because of what he's doing, so it's all good. Nothing is happening. Everything is great. Yes, Brad, I did have a good week off at least until Friday. Well, actually, that's a lie. We were worried since Monday when we had the first conversation with the Nunavik Health Board about it. But yeah, so they're like, yeah, everything's taken care of. He just stays in that room for 10 days, and then you're good. 12:30 comes around, checkout's at 12. I get a phone call. My wife's in the middle of the fucking Nunavik flying in a plane where she has no cell phone service or anything. They're like, checkout was at 12, right? And I go, this room's been extended for 10 days. I'm here till the 30th. They're like, no, you're not. It doesn't say anything here. We don't have anything in our system. We fought back and forth for about half an hour before they found it because everything is great. I've had a lot of breakdowns in the last few months. Well, actually, since last May. As many of you know as well, we sold everything we owned when we came up to the Arctic. The whole game was to save up everything we could and buy a house out east. And once we had the money to just buy it outright. At that time, it looked like it could happen, and then COVID happened, and the grand exodus from Ontario happened, and out east didn't look like it was going to be the place to go anymore. So we decided, hey, we'll go to Saskatchewan. The houses in Saskatchewan are still pretty cheap because nobody wants to live in Saskatchewan. We'll go there. Come down from my first vacation last year. My ex-wife drops custody of my son on me. That took everything we had saved up because he needed glasses, he needed clothes, he needed toys. We needed to ship things up here. We needed to get him shoes. We needed to get him, like, his medicine was $600 a month. So like just dealing with everything as well as still paying child support in the south and now feeding another child in the north. So it took everything we had saved up, and then it's decided that custody of him will be going to us. Okay, well now we need a motion of change. Well, I don't have any money. Okay, I guess we're paying for the motion to change. There goes all the rest of the money we had. And then my depression started hitting in that I'm never getting out of the Arctic because this is the second time now that the money we had saved up to start getting out just disappeared. Fast forward to March of 2022. Now I'm alone in Montreal in quarantine. That's another $1,700 just in hotels, then food and everything else. So that's more of that money that we had saved up gone again. So I'm starting to break. I don't know what to do anymore. My wife doesn't want to leave because we don't have any furniture. We have nothing. We sold everything we owned. So it's, we should stay with the company. I think the world is telling us to get the fuck out of the Arctic. I think every time we turn around, every cent we have saved up to get out is taken away. I think it's telling us it's time to just leave. Like, not that I hate it up there. It's just, I don't want to raise my family up there. I want to have my family down here. I miss some of the things that are down here, like my own family, my friends, I miss a lot of that because you're a loner up there. You have yourself, the people that work with you, and your kids. And I mean, that's a lot, but at the same time, it's not. There's nowhere to go, there's nothing to do. And unlike the people that have grown up there, you don't have family up there, you don't have people to do things with. You're lost in your own little world, your own little bubble that you're just trying to escape from. And it just never happens. And now I'm seeing just how bushy my fucking, yeah, I don't have anything. By the time I go back, I'm not gonna have a mouth. It's just gonna, whoa. So yeah, it's not like it matters. It's not like it does anything. I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated about the rules. And I get why they're there. I just wish, I just wish everything was standard, right? Like, okay. And I wish that people could be held accountable for the shit they do that causes problems towards this, right? Like, I'm sorry, the only reason this is happening because I'm still testing negative. I'm still testing negative on everything but the PCR. I am waiting for the antibody test, but that's not going to change anything other than letting me know that I have a reason to be angry. I think that's what pisses me off even more about it. If I get the antibody test, all that tells me is, hey Chad, you have a reason to be angry because you're completely right. This is this. But again, everybody we've been around still negative. My wife's still testing negative. We were sleeping in a double bed and doing things together every night and every morning. We're negative on those, and she's negative on the PCR, the one that has no vaccines. So, like I said, I'm frustrated now. And then when I got that call that I didn't have a room and all that just, I'm great dealing with almost everything. I'm not the best in a crisis, and mostly because I've just lived from crisis to crisis for a long time now, and it's just starting to eat away at me. And yeah, I'm not looking forward to this 10 days. I I have a case of water and I have some money, and that's about the extent of how my time is looking. I haven't slept since yesterday for sure. I haven't slept since before that, to be honest, but holy fuck, my hair is disgusting. I think it's time to start just staying shaved. Anyway, guys, yeah, I'm done ranting, I guess. Maybe I'll go live later. Maybe I'll try and see if anyone wants to do a hangout or something. I have nothing but time now. Thing is, I have no alcohol because I didn't bring any with me because I was going back to the Arctic. So, yeah. So again, if any of my viewers are in Montreal, send me a message. I'd love to have you come to my hotel room, just knock on the door, leave some beer on the floor, and I'll put a $50 bill under the fucking door. And then I can do some reviews and some live streams and have something to do. I don't even have a video game. I had nothing. I could watch Amazon Prime technically on my phone, but my phone just does not. Holy fuck, what the fuck happened to this? Bye, guys.